Berlin, West Germany. November 1960. Analisa Hartman sat in the records office of the German Red Cross, her hands trembling as she filled out another search form. She'd done this dozens of times over 15 years, always ending the same way. No records found, no family located, no information available. She was 21, a university student of literature, and she couldn't remember anything before age 6. Not her parents' faces, not her birthday, not even her real name. A hospital administrator had assigned her a name in 1945, based only on a tag pinned to her dress. Analisa, maybe 4 years old. That was all she'd ever been. Then the clerk returned from the file room with a strange expression. It wasn't pity or apology, but confusion, maybe alarm. "Fräulein Hartman," the clerk said carefully, "there's someone who's been searching for you. Not family, a British woman. She'd been coming every 6 months since 1947, asking if anyone matching Analisa's description had registered. She left instructions to be contacted immediately if Analisa ever came looking." The room tilted. Who? Why, the clerk handed her a card. Sister Katherine Mand, formerly of the British Army Nursing Corps. An address in Hampshire, England. The past Analisa couldn't remember was about to collide with someone who never forgot. If you're here for stories about human connections that survive history's worst moments, subscribe. What you're about to hear will challenge what you think you know about memory, trauma, and the refusal to let go. To understand why a British nurse searched for a German orphan for 13 years, we return to spring 1945. Katherine Mand was 28, a nurse with the Queen Alexandra's Imperial Military Nursing Service. She'd treated casualties from Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, and Germany's final collapse. She'd learned to compartmentalize grief just to function, seeing soldiers as patients, not sons, because survival demanded distance. Then she entered Bergen-Belsen on April 15, 1945, 4 days after liberation. Every defense she'd built collapsed. Nothing had prepared her. Not the field hospitals, not battle wounds, not whispered warnings. 30,000 corpses lay unburied. 60,000 survivors, skeletal and diseased, crammed into barracks built for 8,000. Typhus raged. Starvation was so advanced food itself could kill. Katherine worked 18-hour, then 20-hour shifts, feeding the starving carefully, treating typhus with limited medicine, recording the dead. Thousands of names written down so someone would bear witness. But it was the children who broke her. Children who forgot how to play, who hoarded food, flinched at voices, stared with ancient eyes that had seen what no child ever should. Among them was a little girl, maybe 4, maybe 5. Malnutrition made age impossible to judge. She was found near the camp perimeter, not inside Belsen, but close enough to have escaped or been lost. She wore a grey wool dress pinned at the waist, no shoes, no coat. Pinned to the fabric was a scrap of paper with one shaky German word written on it. Analisa. Katherine found her sitting in the mud near the medical tent, silent, staring into nothing. When Katherine spoke softly, the child didn't react. No fear, no curiosity, just emptiness. Katherine knelt slowly and offered a small piece of chocolate, careful not to give too much. The girl's eyes flicked to it, calculating. Then she snatched it and ran a few steps away. She crouched and watched from a distance, wary as an animal. Katherine didn't chase her. She left the rest of the chocolate on the ground and returned to work. Over 3 weeks, Katherine earned the child's trust. Food offered, never forced. Presence without pressure. Gentle words even when the girl never replied. Slowly, the child allowed examinations, washing, and finally comfort. She screamed during nightmares and eventually let Katherine hold her. Still, she never spoke a word. Eventually, the child allowed examinations, washing, and finally comfort when nightmares made her scream. She never spoke. Medical exams suggested severe trauma and psychological shutdown. Her age was estimated at 4 to 5. No family came looking. Among tens of thousands of displaced persons, one silent orphan barely stood out. In early May, Katherine handed her to Red Cross Children's Services. The army was moving, hospitals were closing, Displaced persons were being transferred to UNRWA camps. Katherine kissed the girl's forehead and promised she wouldn't forget her. The child's eyes seemed to say promises meant nothing. The girl was transferred to a children's home in Hamburg. Katherine returned to England in July 1945, carrying guilt like a stone in her chest. If you're still following, you understand why these connections matter. Subscribe so we can keep telling them. Katherine married in 1946 and returned to nursing, but she never forgot the girl with the ancient eyes. Every 6 months she wrote the Red Cross, every letter the same, asking if the child called Analisa was alive. Safe, claimed. The answers never changed. Records incomplete. Too many displaced children. In 1947, Katherine began traveling to Germany. Hamburg records showed the child had been moved to Berlin in 1946. Berlin records confirmed her, still silent, still unclaimed. In 1948, she was placed with a foster family. The foster family kept her 2 years. Night terrors, silence. In 1950, they returned her to social services. Too much, they said.